Great day. Just sitting here, and I wanted to share something regarding the strategies of dating. As I was sitting here kind of strolling through TikTok, I just got finished eating some Panera and everything, you know, and I was thinking, right? So as a seasoned woman, mature woman, having been married twice and out of my second marriage for 13 years, I recognize some things. Um, I've been married twice, engaged 3 times. So there was an engagement, but no marriage. And I didn't have to use strategy per se to get married. I didn't have to play games to get married. I just showed up as myself, being honest, open, vulnerable, at the right times. And so did my ex-spouses or ex-suitors, whatever you want to call it. And we had the same mindset and goals for the relationship, and we got married. Now, of course, the marriages didn't work. Of course, we had some challenges, another story for a different day. However, the marriages did occur. And one of the things that I recognize, especially today when people are talking about high value and all these different things, right? I guess my second husband would be considered a high valued man, right? Not only generally by his character, but income, education. He has a master's, things of that nature. He'd never been married before. He'd never had any children. All of those things. I was a stay-at-home mom, pretty much. I have a professional career in healthcare, but I was able to stay home, homeschool my children. We traveled, we did all those things. And then, we had our challenges. Within the marriage. I will say that. My point to this is not about staying married. I'm not saying I've been successful at that, but I have gotten married, right? And I've had 3 engagements, okay? Including those 2 marriages. And my whole point is just saying that, back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, there were no strategies, right? I think the biggest thing, and let me just say this too, I'm not, disregarding people who are actually helping people find their person, if you will, and or strategies. I know it's a sort of a different day, different time, and I know that dating today, I've been dating for 13 years, or quote unquote single after my marriage. Dating for 13 years, so I understand it's very different than it was back then in terms of how people are meeting and all those things. I just feel like people are people, and I think the biggest thing that you can bring to a relationship, from my past experiences, right, from my past failures, from my past personal challenges that I brought into relationships, is to be whole, or as whole as you can be. And what that means is, when you're coming to a relationship, that first of all, if you are looking to be married, say that. If you're looking to have a good time and no commitments, say that. So that, number one, you and the person are on the same page. The second thing is, when you've done your healing and you know who you are and you know your strengths and you know your challenges, you can show up authentically and you can be yourself. And of course, at a right pace. You don't tell a person when you first meet them your whole life story. Use wisdom. But you have to be vulnerable in order to build a healthy, whole relationship, right? And so if you and that person are generally interested, that will happen over time. Point blank, period. Also, when you're whole, you know when you're being mishandled. You know when someone's pulling the wool over your eye. And you're going to be confident enough to understand that you don't deserve that. You won't settle for that. And you will walk away from anything that is disrespectful to you, or is continually disrespectful to you. Whatever your, standards and values and deal breakers are, it is different for every single person. So I'm not going to tell you what that should be for you. It's really not rocket science. It's really just some basic human behavior. And I think And I think because so many of us have had negative experiences, not only in past relationships, but in childhood and things of that nature, that we have so much hurt, and hurt people, whether it's intentionally or not. So the biggest thing that you can do for yourself, men and women, is heal yourself, right? You know what your challenges are, right? You know what they are, and 9 times out of 10, you know where it originated from. And it doesn't mean you have to tell the world about it. Just go get some help. Start by reading some books, counseling, perhaps therapy. Now there's access to therapy online. You don't even have to leave your home. You have a safe place that you can discuss these challenges with, right? And you can have and so we have so many opportunities today to have a safe place where you're not judged, or that person is not emotionally involved to give you their opinion, but they can look at things objectively and help you kind of work through those situations. I mean, I'm a coach. I'm not a licensed therapist, so I'm not claiming to be that, but I just want to share some things from my experience. And then the other thing is, a lot of times, we have picked up some very unhealthy behaviors from our families, from our lineage, from what we saw, that we think is very normal, and it's not. We've been around, especially as a community, we've been around, not all, okay, I'm not saying that, but a lot of us has seen a lot of hurt. We've seen a lot of negativity. We've seen a lot of poverty. We've seen a lot of imbalance in relationships. And so when we have experienced those things, listen, we're human. They skew our thinking. They skew our view, right? And so we have to be honest and come back. So we have to be honest and, come back, and we have to relearn some things. Right? And we have to recognize that when we see genuine happy couples, that there's some work and things that they had to do. There's some understanding. There's some knowledge that those people have that some of us may not have, or they're making different choices. Because how many of you know that love is a choice? You're not going to feel like doing kind things every day. It's just like when you have children, you don't feel like getting them dressed. You don't feel like giving them food. You don't feel like taking them to school. You don't feel like doing homework. You cannot be ruled by your feelings. But it's a level of maturity that we have to understand that our partner, our spouse, is an investment. Just like we're pouring and investing into our children if we have a healthy inside. Right? Now, I'm not going to say that I had all these answers then. When I was married, there were some things that I did very wrong. So there was definitely some things that I did very wrong. And I will even say I didn't heal from my first marriage before I jumped into my second marriage. And then we created our own mess. That's that. Right? There's nothing new under the sun. Some things are really basic. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Right? And when you're not being treated well, you always have the option and free will to leave. So it requires openness, requires honesty, it requires wisdom, right? And so maybe that in itself is a strategy. I don't know, but I just wanted to come and share with you my thoughts today when I was just thinking about all the rhetoric surrounding dating and relationships. And it sort of saddens my heart. And I am single, right? But it sort of saddens my heart that we've come to a place where we're trying to manipulate situations, manipulate people, manipulate relationships by doing this, expecting that, saying that, expecting that. And of course, there's still a level of wisdom here. Yes, that we are to use and we are to exercise. Yes. But the games and then lastly, what are the results? Right? And there are people getting results. There are genuine, married couples and coaches who are helping other people do things, understand, better their relationship, better themselves, and all that. So I'm not against any of that. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts because I've been around for a minute, right? Almost 55 in December. I've had some, marriages, some engagements, and I've also been single technically for 13 years. So I just wanted to come and just share my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So finally, what are your thoughts? Do you believe it takes strategy in dating to meet your person or to find your person, or even once you found them? Because you do have to have maybe be a little strategic in finding people, right? But when you're in the relationship, do you think that requires strategy, certain way of handling and maneuvering and saying certain things? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know. Again, Andrea, I'm Stucky here, the Divorce Liberator and your favorite life and divorce coach. I will see you next time.